Danny Elfman wildin', son. Danny Elfman going off. Hey. Smooth shit. I'ma light this J up. Yeah.
Reef Todd show. What's up?
Some coke, have some weed. You know me, I'm your friend. Your main boy, thick and thin. I'm your pusher man.
Yeah. Smooth as butter, man.
Pusher man.
Great Curtis Mayfield.
Hello, darling. How are you?
Look at this shit right here.
How are you? Good to see you. How's everything? Haven't seen you in a while. You didn't swear up on me, did you?
What's going on, everybody? How you feeling out there? All right. So we have a special guest tonight. I'm gonna give him a call. I'm gonna see if this all works, and we'll see what we can do here.
Superfly, here I stand. Secret stash, heavy bread, baddest bitches in the bed. I'm your pusher man. I'm your pusher man. I'm your pusher man. Solid life. Crime. A man of odd circumstance. A victim of ghetto demands.
Yeah, shout out. Yes. Reef and Todd go to the movies. We're going to talk to someone that works in the movies. Our good friend Will.
What's up? Let's see if this works.
My dudes.
What's going on?
Yes.
Yeah, look at you. What's up,
Ladies and
handsome?
gentlemen.
Yeah.
I'll turn the echo off. Will Blair.
Yeah, man.
My
him
dude.
It says
proper
Will
introduction.
Blair in parentheses film composer.
That's right, and that's what you are, man. And it's an honor for you to be here tonight. Tell the people what you how you got started and what you've been working on currently, my friend.
Oh my gosh. I got started like you guys, just making music with my friends, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like you guys loving movies, right? So
Sure.
Yeah. Sorry, we just kind of jumped right in, right? This is
Yeah.
kind of a all right. So Will
good to
and
see
his
you
brother.
too, I guess.
Let me introduce you properly.
All right, that's fair.
We've been drinking and smoking and all that stuff. So
I'm going to catch up with you two.
yes, Will Blair and his brother Brooke Blair are film composers. They score films. Murder Party was like one of the. It's a cult classic. I would say at this point, like it's people know it and they love it. But that was an early film, and then Green Room, Blue Ruin, I Don't Feel at Home in This World Anymore, and Toxic Avenger, which is coming out soon. So that's Will Blair, just to let everyone know.
My dudes. Thank you for having me. This is exciting, and this is as much social life as I've had in a minute, so I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, man.
So I don't know what's you're like in a right now you're working on a score or you finished a score.
We're still working on a score. We're not done until we're told we're done. So we're in the middle of it. So Reef asked how we got into it, and really the long and short of it is our oldest brother Macon hoarded most of the talent in the family, and Brooke and I have always you guys know, we go back and playing in bands, and we did a lot of hip hop production, we did a lot of rock and roll stuff, and different live projects, but film scoring wasn't on our radar, mainly because we're made to think it doesn't happen on the East Coast, and you've got to be somewhere geographically specific to make it happen, and
Right.
That's not really the case. We got into it through our older brother Macon. He and his buddies, like you said, made Murder Party.
I love Murder Party, man.
It's pretty great. That was 2007. This is how we thought you score a movie in 2007. We had a digital 8-track, and we had a VCR with a TV, and Jeremy, the filmmaker, would send us rough cut on a VHS tape, and we would hit play on the VCR and record on the 8-track at the same time, and just hope we could sync things up and start improvising. That's not how you do it, it turns out. So that was just a lesson. I mean, Jeremy Saunier is the filmmaker that got us started in this whole thing. He is a hyper talented and very patient man, because he, you know, what he lacks in like musical vocabulary, he knows exactly what he wants his scores to do and how he wants them to function in the movie. So he did, you know, Murder Party was him just teaching us the basics of it. And then a few years later, he made Blue Ruin, and so that was like 2012. And again, we didn't have our eyes set on sort of a career in film scoring, but
you were in a band though, or Will, you were in a band called East 100, and you were making music, and you were like you guys were getting there, man.
We were also nearing what felt like we needed a change of scenery, whatever that was, career-wise or creative. And that's when Jeremy brought Blue Ruin to us. And again, not really knowing how to do it, he came to Philly for 2 weeks, slept on our couch, woke us up every morning, you know, and we just would dig into a new scene with him there in the little studio with us until he got it feeling the way, you know, he wanted it. And then that little movie that no one ever really thought was going to be much of anything just kind of blew up.
Nice.
For Jeremy in the indie sort of festival circuit, so Sundance and Cannes, etc.
Blue Ruin's so good, man.
Blue Ruin is like he made a filmmaker's movie. So like other young filmmakers would see it and say, I want my project to look and feel like that. So we started finding work elsewhere based on the strength of Blue Ruin. He went on to do Green Room with us and Hold the Dark, and then here we are, still chipping away at it.
I mean, talk about like, what was that transition like, being in a band and then working other jobs and trying to make ends meet, and then you decided, like, you and your brother decided, like, let's make this transition. And I think Blue Room was like the moment, really, like, that's my perspective, is like Blue Room was the moment where, like, let's take this thing seriously, let's be film composers and get an agent and do all the things. Like, what was that transition like? How do you feel as an artist? I don't know.
It was fly by the seat of our pants, to be honest. Like I said, Blue Ruin blew up at Sundance, and before we knew it, we were like, if there's going to be opportunity for us to learn how to do more of this and find more of this work, it's going to be right now. So we just did the Philly hustle. Like, here's the website, here's the business cards, let's start cold calling people, whatever kind of little credits we could hustle up, or a couple bucks doing that. Yes, it was a very intentional shift from performing live to just what is now more of a studio process, production process, and like a much less,
instant satisfaction, right? Like with a live show.
I miss the performance side of things. I love watching you guys perform. I'm envious of that sort of immediate reaction you get from an audience, and that energy that's shared real time. And we're just now in this very elongated process of working on something for 6 months, and maybe it comes out a year later. Yeah. You know.
So I wanted to ask, when you get a project, you see the story. Is that when you start to formulate how the sound would go, or is it usually a collaboration with the director on how the direction you should go, and how do you play with that, and what's that like, building those sounds?
The best case scenario would be a director who has a firm idea of what they want it to feel and like and sound like, while still giving us enough freedom to figure out what that is. I think it would be a red flag if a filmmaker finished his movie and said, I have no idea what should be happening
right
musically, because that would suggest they don't know what should be happening emotionally. You know what I mean? So
sure.
We love that first part of the process when we can sit in a room with the director and they can explain every intention, because they know the sort of emotional arc of each scene better than anyone, and they just need to sort of help translate that to us so we can we can figure out what, the first best step for music. Yeah, the best relationships have been, or the best projects. We've been lucky, man. Everyone we've worked with, we feel like has literally just been teaching us, better how to do it, and have been patient with us, and
that's always
allowed
the
us
best.
to kind of do our thing. Mm-hmm. We haven't had these horror stories that you hear about of very, creative relationships going sour or anything like that. It does require you got to let go of your precious ideas. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
We have sent so much music that we think is a perfect fit and some sort of, perfect solution to what that scene needs, just to have it get scrapped.
Right.
We're used to that now. It's normally version 3 or 4 that starts to stick. So there's that bit of rejection, and but Todd, as far as what the difference between like playing in a band and scoring movies, people often say it sounds like scoring a movie would be like someone else is telling you what to do, and it's someone else's vision, and it's a work for hire situation, so you're just stuck in this little thing. But really, I find it to be the opposite. It's like each movie we look at it almost like a brand new band was just formed. The director is this front person songwriter who's fronting the operation, and we're now the sort of the band that's been hired to support that vision. But every movie is like a different, especially if we can sort of bounce around with different genres, and that's something we've tried to do a lot of, so that we're able to, we're not stuck in one sound.
Like the director is just another band member creating a new song, kind of in a way. Like they're part of it. I don't know, man. Like, I wish I was more prepared to ask you questions. I mean, you're like one of my closest friends, so I know.
So we can just talk about the friend stuff too. What did I miss, man? I saw Danny Elfman popped up.
Yeah, we played Elfman. That was like right before you. I was introducing you guys,
No, I saw, and he was like
band to score.
I mean, we grew up with this John Williams, Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back, Indiana Jones, E.T., but it was probably 92 or 93. I'm what's known as an old head compared to you two dudes.
Yeah, right. Come on.
So it was probably
I dye my beard. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm literally an old head. The first Batman was Michael Keaton Batman, and that was Danny Elfman's first big like orchestral Hollywood film score, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, we played Prince Batdance earlier.
That's what I missed. Yeah. I mean, that was the one that first. I mean, I loved Star Wars and all that growing up, but again, I was probably young enough where it was just everything was make believe and fun, and it looked cool and it sounded cool. By the time that first Tim Burton Batman came around, and I heard Danny Elfman's music, it was orchestral, but it was dark and it was spooky, and I thought it was perfect for.
So scores and soundtracks are different. Would you say that? I mean, I feel like soundtracks don't really happen as much as they did. I mean, they do on a more gigantic scale, like Trolls, like Justin Timberlake, like doing a song like that. But I feel like you guys composed the score to the whole film, so you guys are creating the sound and the atmosphere of the movie. But like, I don't know, can you touch on like the idea of why is it because of the budget? Like, why aren't there like, or the fact that there's no longer a record industry really like putting money into a soundtrack?
I think it's a very good question. I think it's all of the above. I think with fewer like physical sales, right? And especially in the past few years with fewer like perhaps touring opportunities, perhaps people are just protective of their rights, copyrights and are trying to hold out for the best offer. I know that the movie we're working on right now is like, they were hoping to license about a dozen songs, and that would be part of the soundtrack, right? Needle drops, essentially, that's function outside of the score. But they've only cleared 2 of these songs. And without naming names, small fact we just learned, Corey Feldman's father owns the rights to so many of these like awesome obscure songs from the 80s.
What?
He's been unwilling to clear like a bunch of music that they're hoping to place in this movie.
Wow, that's so brilliant.
the irony of all of the Hollywood dads to not release rights for songs from the 80s.
Corey Feldman's dad.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So there's just situations like that. Like you never know who owns the copyright and is not willing to place it in a project for one reason or another. That's what we see a lot of. We see a lot of directors get stuck on a song, their favorite artist. It fits the scene perfectly. It functions with the score, whatever we're working on. And then at the last minute, they don't get rights to use that song. It's pretty sad. So,
can you talk about what you're working on, like what you're finishing up right now, or no? I don't know.
You guys were working on it with us. You guys have been part of it.
Yeah.
This is the Toxic Avenger, the reboot to the cult classic from 84, 85, right?
Yeah.
That's when the franchise started. Yeah.
One thing about this, yes, is our oldest brother Macon is the writer-director. And he cast Peter Dinklage as the unlikely hero, New Jersey's first superhero. Is that right, Todd?
Yeah. Toxic Avenger was New Jersey's superhero.
Yeah. Kevin Bacon is the bad guy. And it's like he's maintained the rough sort of noir vibe of the original one, but obviously with a bigger package and a bigger scope. It looks good. Yeah, we're hoping to wrap it up in the next month or so, and if there's no release date yet, but it's probably going to be a fun summer theatrical release.
Oh my god, nice. I can't wait. I mean, when I heard that you were a part of it, I couldn't believe it, and then the fact that your brother, like, I mean, the Trauma people. I mean, it's what's his name? The
Lloyd Kaufman.
Yeah, Lloyd Kaufman. Like, they're always at MonsterCon. It's such a cult following and such a huge deal, and I knew it was in good hands. When I heard that your brother was doing it, like, who was also involved in comic books and writing comic books and all that stuff, and I just knew it was in good hands. But I know we're going to wrap this up. We're going to let you go about your Sunday night, but, like, I'm glad that you're doing Toxic Avenger. I can't wait. The fact that me and Reef were invited to do some stuff, hopefully it makes the cut.
Said, yeah, this will have a soundtrack release, and there's some music that you guys contributed to that will be cleared and will see the light of day. So
nice.
Thank you guys for jumping in. You were the very first collaborators on the score when they said, first things first, we have to make some hip-hop music for some of this live performance stuff that happens in the movie. Yeah. And you guys were in the studio a couple of days later helping us whip it up. So I appreciate it.
Will, you're the best.
You guys are the best.
All right, man, we're going to get back to the show. We're going to let you get back to what you do.
Love you,
I'm
man.
just watching the
Appreciate
show.
You, bro.
I got you on mute over here, so when we hang up, I'm just going to get back to hanging with you two.
Yeah, man. Yo, man, continued success, brother. We're so proud of you. Keep up the great work, man.
So
you
listen,
and your brother.
if I'm gonna play you out, like, talk about some movie soundtracks. Like, what would I play you out to? What are some of your favorite movie soundtracks? Like, there's something that, like, when you think of movie soundtracks, you think of some things. Wait,
this is the original Twin Peaks. This is not going to be appropriate. This might put everyone to sleep. The original Twin Peaks by David Lynch. The scores by Angelo Badalamenti. Probably hands down some of the most beautiful television film music.
Oh yeah,
in my opinion. But speaking of the Feldmans, I think we're both big fans of the Lost Boys.
Way to bring it back, man! He brought it back.
Perfect.
So
an old pro, you are. An old pro. Yeah.
Wait. Say that again.
I Still Believe by Tim Capello, who was Turner's sax player for like 2 decades.
Tina Turner's sax player.
According to Wikipedia, he's notable for his muscular physique, his sexual provocative movements during his performance, and for his tendency to perform shirtless with his skin oiled.
Nice.
So you I Still Believe, or Gerard McMahon's Cry Little Sister. I think if you want to go for a bit more of a slow ballad.
I'm going with I Still Believe.
I Still Believe.
I'm playing it now. We're playing you out, man. This is it, man. Like, you're the best. Thanks, Will.
I appreciate you guys.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for your time, bro.
I'll talk to you soon. I'll talk to you soon, man.
I've Never been to a party on the beach this cool, man.
Yo, thanks again for Will being a part of this. Will Blair. I can't wait for the Toxic Avenger. That's awesome to talk to him tonight. That's amazing. And yeah, welcome back to the Reef and Todd show. We're going to be playing some shit. I haven't really been paying attention to the chat room, so thank you guys for being a part of it.
Yeah, man, I've never been to a beach party this fucking lit before, man. I'm going to the wrong beaches or something. You know what I'm saying? This is the illest party I've ever seen.